Hello students, in this video we are going to see fibula bone. Fibula is a lateral and smaller bone of the leg. As you all know that leg is having tibia and fibula. So this is the anterior view of the right leg showing tibia and fibula. So fibula, this is the right side, this is fibula and this is tibia, and it is homologous with ulna of the upper limb. So this is the radius ulna of right side, this is ulna and this is radius. The difference is ulna is situated medially while fibula is situated laterally. The difference is because of the development of the during development there is a rotation of the limbs. Now the parts, as all in the long bone, is having upper end, lower end and shaft. This is upper end, this is lower end and this is shaft. Now how will we decide site? This is the photographs of fibula, posterior view, lateral view and medial view. Upper end is identified by the expanded end, which is also known as head, and it is expanded in all direction. And lower end, or also called as lateral malleolus, is expanded anteroposteriorly and flat side to side. So this is lower end. So on the basis of this we can identify the superior and inferior side. Then how will we decide medial side? The medial side of a lower end is having triangular facet anteriorly and malleolar fossa posteriorly. So on the rightmost photograph showing the triangular blue triangle showing the triangular facet, and this is triangular facet which articulates with the tibia and malleolar fossa. So this red oval area is the malleolar fossa which is present posteriorly. So on the basis of this we can identify the medial side. So these are the features on the basis of which we can decide side, and as well as we can hold in anatomical position. So this is malleolar fossa. Now the features of fibula. Upper end is also known as head. It is expanded in all directions, as I have told you. This is the upper end. It is having the articular facet. This pink area is articular facet which articulates with the upper end of tibia. Then apex, or also called as styloid process. So this is styloid process. Then neck, just below the head there is a constriction. So this is neck. Then shaft starts. Now the shaft is having the considerable variations as we go from upper side to the lower side. So this is fibula of right side, anterior view and posterior view. It is having three borders On cut section it looks like this. The three borders are anterior border, posterior border and interosseous border. So this black line is anterior border, and red dot on cut section is showing anterior border. Now this black line is posterior border, and red dot on cut section is posterior border, and this is interosseous border, which gives attachment to interosseous membrane. Here on cut section, this red dot is interosseous border, also called as medial border. It is having three surfaces: lateral surface, medial surface and posterior surface. So this is lateral surface between anterior border and posterior border. Between anterior border and interosseous border, the surface is medial surface, and between medial border to posterior border is posterior surface. In posterior surface there is another elevation which is known as medial crest. So this red dot is medial crest, on the basis of which the posterior surface is divided into lateral part and medial part. Now the lower end, also called as lateral malleolus. So this is anterior view and posterior view of lower end. So this blue oval area is lateral end or lateral malleolus. It is 0.5 centimeter lower than the medial malleolus, as you can see in this photograph. It is having four surfaces: anterior surface, posterior surface, anterior surface is 1.5 centimeter posterior to that of medial malleolus, and posterior surface is having a groove which lodges tendons of peroneus longus and brevis. Then lateral surface is subcutaneous, as shown in this photograph. There is an elevation on lateral aspect of upper part of foot. This is lateral, the lower end of fibula. Then the medial surface. So this is the photograph showing medial surface, which is having a triangular facet for talus. This is triangular facet for talus, and posterior to this is malleolar fossa. Okay. Now attachments on fibula. First of all, attachments on medial surface. So this is medial view of this fibula, which is divided into three parts by two imaginary line: upper 1/3, lower upper 1/4, lower 2/4, and upper 1/4, middle 2/4 and lower 1/4. So and this middle 2/4 is again divided into anterior half and posterior half. So the medial surface looks like this. The upper 1/4 and anterior half of middle 2/4 gives origin to extensor digitorum longus, as shown in this photograph, and posterior half of middle 2/4 gives origin to extensor hallucis longus, as shown in this animation, and lower 1/4 gives origin to peroneus tertius. Now the attachments on lateral surface. This is the lateral view, again divided into three parts: upper one third, middle one third, and lower one third. And middle one third is divided into anterior half and posterior half by a vertical imaginary line. So the lateral surface is look like this. So upper one third and posterior half of middle one third gives origin to peroneus longus as shown in this animation, and anterior half of middle one third and lower one third gives origin to peroneus brevis, okay, as shown in this animation. Now the attachments on posterior surface. This is the posterior view. It gives attachment to tibialis posterior. This is tibialis posterior. It takes origin from the upper half in between interosseous border and medial crest, and between medial crest and posterior border it gives origin to, this is origin of soleus, and just below the soleus is the origin of flexor hallucis longus. So soleus and flexor hallucis longus is present in between medial crest and posterior border. Now the attachments on head. This is head showing the articular facet for tibia, which makes the superior tibiofibular joint. So superior tibiofibular joint capsule is attached around this articular facet as shown in this photograph. This is capsule of superior tibiofibular joint. Another attachment on the head lateral aspect, C separate attachment of insertion of biceps femoris. So this is insertion of biceps femoris, and just above this is the attachment of fibular collateral ligament. Now the attachments on anterior border. This is the transverse section of leg showing tibia and fibula, simplified in this photograph, showing the different intermuscular septa. So this green line shows the attachment of the on the anterior border. It is anterior intermuscular septum, which divides the leg into anterior compartment and lateral compartment. Another attachment, that is the in lower part of fibula, it gives attachment to superior extensor retinaculum. So this is superior extensor retinaculum as shown in this photograph. This is superior extensor retinaculum. On lateral side, it gives attachment to this superior peroneal retinaculum. Underneath this, peroneus longus and brevis are present as shown in this photograph. This is superior peroneal retinaculum. Now the attachments on posterior border, again cut section. The posterior border gives attachment to posterior intermuscular septum. So this is posterior intermuscular septum, which divides the leg into lateral compartment, or it separates the lateral compartment from the posterior compartment. Now the attachments on interosseous border. there is attachment of interosseous membrane. So this is interosseous membrane, and on cut section this red dot, red line is, sorry, green line is interosseous membrane. So this is interosseous membrane. Now attachments on medial crest. Medial crest gives attachment to deep transverse septum. So this is deep transverse septum. Now the ligaments of fibula. First ligament is fibular collateral ligament. So this is fibular collateral ligament, and in this photograph it is very clear, also called as lateral collateral ligament. So this is fibular collateral ligament. This is anterior view left one, and this is a posterior view right one. So on inferior side there is attachment of anterior tibiofibular ligament. This is anterior tibiofibular ligament. On posterior side, posterior tibiofibular ligament. On inferior side, there is attachment of inferior tibiofibular ligament, and in between tibia and fibula there is interosseous tibiofibular ligament. So this is interosseous tibiofibular ligament. Another ligament is calcaneofibular ligament, which is attached on the lower border of lateral malleolus to the tubercle of calcaneum. So this is calcaneofibular ligament. Calcaneofibular ligament. Underneath the tendons of peroneus longus and brevis. Now the relation of posterior surface. As I have told you, on posterior surface there is a groove which lodges tendons of peroneus longus and brevis. So this is tendon of peroneus longus, and this is tendon of peroneus brevis. Relation of neck of fibula. Neck is related with common peroneal nerve. So this is common peroneal nerve. Very important relation of neck of fibula, which is related with common peroneal nerve. Now the blood supply. Fibula is supplied by nutrient arteries from peroneal artery. So this is the posterior view of tibia and fibula. So this is peroneal artery, which is the branch of posterior tibial artery. Now the ossification. It takes, or it ossifies. It is ossified from one primary center and two secondary centers. One primary center for sept appears at the age of 8th week of intrauterine life, and two secondary centers for upper and lower end. This upper end and lower end. Upper end appears at the age of 4 years and fuses with the sept at the age of 17 to 19 years. The lower end secondary center appears at the age of 1 year and fuses with the sept at the age of 15 to 17 years. The very important phenomena in the fibula, that it violates the law of ossification. What is law of ossification? The law of ossification says the center of ossification which appears first fuses last. But in case of fibula, secondary center appears first but does not fuse last. This is fibula, and these are the secondary center for upper and lower end. Upper end appears at the age of 4 years and fuses 17 to 19 years, while the lower end appears at the age of 1 year and fuses at the age of 15 to 17 years. So in case of lower end, which appears first, fuses first. So it violates the law of ossification. The reason behind this, Secondary center for lower end appears first because it is a pressure epiphysis, and upper epiphysis fuses last because it is a growing end. Okay, now the applied aspect. Upper and lower ends are subcutaneous and palpable. Here you can feel the lower end. Common peroneal nerve is commonly injured at the neck of fibula because here, as shown in this photograph, the common peroneal nerve is in contact with the bone. So any injury on the upper lateral aspect of leg uh, result into injury of common peroneal nerve, which leads to foot drop. Now Pott's fracture, as I have discussed in tibia, these are the this is a photograph showing Pott's fracture, in which there is a fracture of medial malleolus, fracture of lower end of fibula, and fracture of deltoid ligament. This is deltoid ligament, and here is the fracture of deltoid ligament, rupture of deltoid ligament. The fibula is ideal spare bone for bone graft because it does not take part in transmission of weight. So in this photograph, the fibula, the part of shaft of fibula is taken and placed at the play on the area of tibia. It does not bear any weight, but important for stability of ankle joint. So most of the weight is transmitted, most of the weight of the body is transmitted to foot via tibia, and it is important for maintaining the stability of the ankle joint by its ligaments. So this is all about fibula, and keep revising it. Thank you.